Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to midfield for the National Championship Game coin toss with inductees of the 2017 National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame. Representing the University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning. And representing Duke, Florida, and South Carolina, Coach Steve Spurrier. Tonight's referee, Mike DeFee. Honorary captains for Clemson, Taj Boyd. And for Alabama, Derek Henry. And team captains for Clemson and team captains for Alabama.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations and welcome to the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship. Back-to-back appearances by both teams, extremely impressive. My name's Mike DeFee. I'm your referee today from the Big 12 Conference. This is Robert Richardson. He's your umpire. Here's our coin tonight. This is heads, and this is tails. Clemson, you've been designated to call the toss tonight. What's your call? Heads. Heads is his call. It is heads. You want the toss. You want to defer. You want the football. Which end do you want to kick from? You want to kick it this way? You put your back to that goal. Your back to this goal. Clemson will call before the option to the second half. Alabama will receive.
So Clemson wins the toss and defers. Alabama will get the football to begin this championship game rematch. Alabama graduate, former national champion wide receiver and special teamer Dabo Swinney tries to beat his old school tonight. Samantha?
Well, Coach, you've talked about how big of a challenge Bama's front seven is. So what's the biggest indicator to you that your offensive line can be successful against them tonight?
Well, our past success. I mean, you know, we're 27-1 in our last 28. They're 28-1 or whatever. You know, we've played a lot of big teams, a lot of great teams. So we practice against good players. They're a great front. We got a great front. It's going to be a few plays, a few inches.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach. Tom Rinaldi, take it away.
Sam, thank you very much. Nick, a true freshman quarterback and a new offensive coordinator. What do you need to see from them to have success tonight?
Look, we have a good plan. We practiced it all week. It's time to go execute it. And it doesn't matter about all that because we've had a good week of work, and I think we're ready to go.
Appreciate the time. Go get it.
All right, thank you.
Chris?
All right, Tom, thank you. There's Sarkisian trying to exude calm in what must be an anxious moment and his 18-year-old quarterback. This is electric. A lot of fun. A fitting climax for this football season. The two best teams have muscled their way to Tampa. And someone's going to be kissing that trophy within the next 4 hours. Hugel to kick it away. Eric Dieter, ArDarius Stewart deep for the tie. It's a short kick. And Stewart from the 12. Cannot escape. Drop at the 25. And now we will see Jalen Hurts. He becomes just the second true freshman to win a national title. Big, strong guy, dual threat, extremely calm.
And you can see at 6'2", 209 pounds, he is thick, and he'll run the football tonight. When he does run the ball, he's like a tailback. They'll try to get him involved in the running game, more than likely out on the edges, where again, he complements the more physical Bo Scarborough between the tackles.
A year ago, he was the scout team quarterback simulating Deshaun Watson.
Remember, they've got to get ArDarius Stewart and Calvin Ridley involved early with some quick throws.
It's a pass batted down on the very first play as Christian Wilkins got into that throwing lane.
See, the thing is, Brent Venables knows that they have a true freshman quarterback, and you talk to anybody, what are you going to do with a young quarterback in this kind of atmosphere? Quick throws, try to get him to settle in. Brent Venables knows that. He's got his defensive lineman ready, aware. Wilkins goes up, knocks it down, the quick throw.
Clemson defensive line so good at getting the hands up, deflecting passes tonight. There's a second down handoff to Bo Scarborough, the young back who ran right through Washington. But Cleveland Farrell, who ate the Buckeyes alive in the semifinal, makes the stop.
Farrell is just picking up, as you said, where he left off against Ohio State. A lot of pressure. And they will attack this offensive line and this young quarterback until they prove that they can make him pay for it. They are determined to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball to win the game tonight. So they're loading up at the line of scrimmage.
Not in his comfort zone on 3rd and 11. Quick throw near side. Calvin Ridley collects it in traffic. Very little running room as Ryan Carter, the corner, shut him down, and the Tide go 3 and out.
Now the streak continues for this Alabama offense against ranked opponents. They have struggled on opening drives. This is now the 7th ranked opponent that they've gone up against. They've only had 3 first downs in those situations. In the last 2 games against Florida and Washington, 3 and outs. And now Clemson are 3 and out.
So J.K. Scott, the fine junior punter, is on, trying to boot it deep and prevent Clemson and Artavis Scott from creating good field position for Deshaun's first possession. He drives Scott back to the 20. Bama coverage team swarms down there, and Artavis can't get away. So from the 22, here comes Deshaun Watson. He's a junior, but this should be the final game of his college career. The Times Kirk, he's put a lot of pressure on himself this season. Twice a Heisman finalist, runner-up in the game a year ago. Did he find that calm, almost flawless performance that he had last year?
That's going to be the key. And the pass rush from the defensive line from Alabama. Clemson wants to be able to get Deshaun Watson settled and in that zone with his accuracy and his decision-making with their run-pass options.
And unlike Bama, the Tigers have been very crisp and sharp early in games offensively in recent weeks. This is Wayne Gallman. They feed the workhorse running back, and he gets the edge. Physical runner knocked out at the 33. Good side if they get Gallman going early.
Wayne Gallman running with a little bit of an attitude. We know that Bama's coming in with an attitude after what Deshaun Watson did to him last year. But when Clemson gets first downs, that's when you really see the tempo crank up from Watson.
Empty backfield on first down. Watson pressured and sacked. Flooding in there was big Deron Payne, the nose guard.
Payne is able to, this is the matchup, and this is what Clemson has got to be concerned with. Watch the hands and watch the quickness from Payne going right around Taylor Hearn. Remember, Payne is 320-pound defensive lineman. You get caught up with Johnathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson and Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson. Payne makes a big play here early.
They have depth, but not as much as last year. You saw Payne being spelled on this 2nd and 14. Watson flips it inside in traffic. A shovel pass to the tight end, Jordan Leggett. A flag is down.
These two defenses are flying around, and Deshaun Watson sitting down on the field still.
Deshaun is a tough guy, and he's gotten stronger since last year to take shots.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Reuben Foster hit the quarterback, and that's the penalty.
Yeah, remember we talked about how Alabama wants to send a message? Watch 10, Reuben Foster come in here late after the shovel pass right there with a club to the head. I mean, that's why Watson was staying down. They're trying to send a message to Deshaun Watson, and it cost them 15 yards.
Ball moved to midfield. Deshaun's pretty good at shaking off that kind of stuff. Still got the ball, delivers to Scott. Clemson receivers had an excellent night blocking on the edge against the Buckeyes, but is that a tougher chore against Alabama tonight?
Absolutely. Well, these corners do a really good job of getting off their blocks, and their eyes are right now on Deshaun Watson. You know, you hit Deshaun Watson like that, you're obviously trying to send a message to this Clemson offense, but at the same time, this isn't your average quarterback. You know, you're going to press his buttons as well by doing that. And it opens up other aspects with an overly aggressive defense.
On 2nd and 9, this is Gallman stumbling forward and dropped at the 44. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Tigers don't sub, so the Tide can't either on defense. Very efficient in 3rd down.
3rd and 4 with his ability to run gives him the option of both running and passing here, depending on what Alabama shows him.
Tide rush 5, complete. Battling near the marker there as Anthony Averett stopped Big Mike Williams. The spot will be very close to 1st down yardage.
Everett makes a heck of a play. The scouting report says that Clemson in these 3rd and shorts, they're going to go to the quick slant. He breaks on that ball, anticipating the slant, and is able to keep Mike Williams short of the 1st down by about a half a yard.
Everett giving away about 35, 40 pounds in that matchup with the strength. Prevents the 1st down, 4th and very short, and the offense on the field at the 41.
Puts Clemson in a very tough spot. Still in that shotgun against this defensive line, something that they pride themselves in.
Got to hurry. And the play clock was at 1. They've gone for it now 25 times this season, if in fact they do run a 4th down play. Pretty good success rate.
Yeah. The defensive line's different than all those other attempts.
Excellent point. We'll take a break. 4th and 1 against Alabama all season long. Need about a half yard from the 41. You guys are at timeout. Let's see what he's got cooked up.
Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson, 54 in the middle, over 300 pounds. Deron Payne, who's already made a big play with some penetration at 320 pounds, right in the middle, anchoring that defensive line.
5 receivers, empty backfield. And now Gallman and Leggett motion in. Option. Gallman. Nothing. The Tide rise up, but even though Gallman fights hard, Tony Brown got there first, and the Tide defense forces turnover.
Yeah, and Scott is blocking Fitzpatrick coming into the inside right here, and Brown's able to come to the outside. You also see Evans get a push back into the backfield. I mean, they were ready for this. They anticipated that the ball might go to the outside, and they were prepared and ready to make the play. You see 2 or 3 different Tide players ready to make a play. And how about Tony Brown, after everything he's been through throughout his career, coming up with a big stop?
Tony Brown, better tell him sometimes Gallman doesn't get out on the first hit, though. He was celebrating, and Gallman was still fighting hard.
It didn't wrap up. He just hit him.
So the turnover on downs gives Tide the football for their 2nd possession at the 41. See if Sarkisian can call. It's tough to get Jalen Hurts settled in. Play action, chased by Wilkins. Excellent runner, takes off, and he gets man coverage. They just forgot about the quarterback, who scoots down to the 35.
Clemson is a man-to-man team, and if you can get to the outside of Wilkins, then you can have room to run. Look at the coverage downfield here and here. Nobody's able to account for the fleet-footed quarterback, and he's got room to run.
After the 20-yard run, Alabama plays with some tempo. Scarborough plows forward for 4. They call that a win on 1st down. If they can get a 4-yard gain or more, that's a win on 1st down, says Saban.
Yep. Steve Sarkisian is right now, as we speak, just kind of settling into this game as his play caller here in his first game with Alabama calling plays.
Play action again, quick penetration. Quarterback knocked down, and 2 flags come in. Cleveland Farrell, who was J.T. Barrett's nightmare last week, got in early.
He got his hands into the face of the quarterback after he threw the ball. You can see the big left tackle Cam Robinson didn't appreciate it.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty for previous spot. Automatic.
So each defense, Kirk, has tried to send a message and taken 15 yards.
Yeah, Farrell's just trying to get his hands up. He obviously bats the ball down, but the right hand, opposite of the hand where he bats the ball down, gets up into the face of Hurts and costs the Tigers 15 yards. And now Alabama all of a sudden deep in Clemson territory.
Ball spotted at the 20. Flags come out. There were a couple men in motion when it was snapped, and this is not the CFL.
No, this is part of, remember last week they struggled with some delay of games and a little bit of sloppiness in their execution. The tight end that time, O.J. Howard, wasn't able to get around and get set.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving without resetting. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Nick Saban told us on the sidelines he expects to be supportive and calm, not chew on Sarkisian, such a feature of Lane Kiffin's time on the sideline. We looked at each other and said, we wonder if we believe him. How long will that last if things don't go well?
I think it depends on the game. Quick huddle break here by Bama. They're going fast.
And 1st and 15. Scarborough gets the edge. Bo Scarborough cuts it back, still rumbling all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Bama. "25 yards to cap a 59-yard drive in less than a minute."
Boy, what a great block by O.J. Howard to get him to the edge. Let's see if he extends before he touches to get down. He is in the end zone for a touchdown.
And the running back who replaced the Heisman Trophy winner, Derrick Henry, finds the end zone, much as Henry did early in last year's championship game. The AT&T pylon cam giving you a good look. So Adam Griffith, the senior kicker. And the Clemson crowd making their displeasure known. Bama's defense makes the big stand on 4th and 1.
Exactly.
20-yard run by Hurts. The 15-yard penalty on Farrell sets this up.
Watch Howard come around here. O.J. Howard, 88. Big block right there on the edge on the outside linebacker. O'Daniel gets him to the edge. And there's the niftiness from Scarborough. The cutback and the speed by the big fella to get it to the corner in the end zone for the touchdown.
Sarkisian and Saban and company draw first blood in Tampa. Game since '96. Tie breakout on top, 7-0. Scoring drive set up by a 4th and 1 defensive stop. And the powerful Alabama running game. Only the 4th time Clemson's given up a first quarter touchdown this season, Kirk. They've been an exceptionally strong first quarter team.
Well, that aggressive nature that they play with usually shocks their opponents early. It takes teams a bit to settle into a game. Alabama with that big turn of events when they got the ball back. Now not only get 7, but their confidence is now established offensively.
Adam Griffith, an excellent kickoff man. This one not as deep as most of his go. And Scott fakes the reverse and takes off. Artavis Scott held up just a bit by Griffith so the cavalry could catch up at the 45. But it's Clemson's turn to make a play on special teams. There's a flag on the far side near where the tackle was made. So we'll check that. They fake the reverse, and Scott shows his acceleration.
I don't know if he got a face mask or what it might be, but it was, as you said, Chris, it was really close to where they made the tackle.
Here's Mike DeFee.
Personal foul. Receiving team number 41 hitting a player out of the play. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Well, that's Grant Radakovich, the son of the athletic director. Dan is on the playoff selection committee. And Dabo Sweeney hates that kind of needless mental error, as most coaches do.
Yeah, all the way here on the left, right here. That's the number that they call. Maybe happens up here, just towards the end of the play is where, yeah, right here, boom, right there. You saw him come in and clip a guy at the end, unnecessary. And instead of having a ball at their own 40, they go all the way back inside their own 30-yard line. Costly penalty.
Second personal foul on the Tigers already tonight. Scott, jet sweep, strung out, and he's dropped for a loss. And the Tide defense flowing in there. That's the top tackler, Reuben Foster.
Yeah, you get the ball to the outside on this offense. I mean, that's part of who they are, and it's what Alabama's really worked hard to take away from Clemson, because when they get the perimeter running going, along with Deshaun Watson, it sets up their vertical pass game. They're going to have some success throwing downfield to get this Bama defense to back up.
Watson across the middle, and that's Leggett. He's 4 for 4, Kirk, but all very short passes.
It's been very conservative here early. Again, it's just part of trying to get him, even though he is a guy who's played a ton of football, he knows this offense as well as the coaches do. It was funny when we were talking with Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott, the co-offensive coordinators. They said he's essentially an offensive coordinator that happens to be playing quarterback. He is brilliant when it comes to this offense and what they put on his shoulders on virtually every play.
Different from day one at being able to process things. And 3rd and 2, delivers a strike. Williams takes a hard hit, but they'll move the 6 to the 43.
Yeah, there's that quick slant again. 3rd down in the kind of 3 to 5, 3 to 6 range. You know it's coming, but Mike Williams, it's 6'3" and 225 pounds. You have to respect the potential of him getting downfield, and so he's able to get into the inside. He got hit in the head there, it looked like, a little bit late. That's why he's slow to get up and had to go off the field.
Gallman cuts it back. This is a very hard-hitting first 7.5 minutes by both defenses.
This is the nickelback again, who's been involved early in this game. Watch him here come in late with a big hit to the head, and that is helmet to helmet from Tony Brown. Lowers the boom on Mike Williams.
He's a guy that was ejected for targeting against Auburn. Tony Brown. He's a volatile guy, very emotional. Needs to keep under control to be at his best. And he went up the middle with a lot of eye candy before this snap. That'll set up a 3rd down play.
Well, these Crimson jerseys are flying towards the outside run game. They were all over the outside of Wayne Gallman. They're forcing Deshaun Watson in these situations to have to run the ball, and they're rallying to him. And when he runs the ball, they want to punish Deshaun Watson, give him a number of hits for 4 quarters that could have eventually an effect on him.
Top receiver Mike Williams still out of the game. Bunch formation with Deon Cain to the left. Watson looks back that direction, takes a shot one-on-one. Excellent coverage. Incomplete. Anthony Averett was all over the receiver, and it's 4th down.
Well, Deon Cain is a talented player who's back home in Tampa where he went to high school, but he's not Mike Williams. And that hit from Tony Brown keeps Mike Williams out. That's where normally Mike Williams would be, back into the boundary by himself, isolated, with an ability to go up and make a play. And Deon Cain, as a sophomore, isn't quite to that level. And he and Deshaun Watson not quite on the same page.
Averett, one of the corners, has had to step up. This Tide defense has been hit by a couple of key injuries this season. Eddie Jackson not able to go. You saw him out there as a captain. But Averett has stepped up. And so Andy Teasdall punts it away, and Garrick Dieter, a graduate transfer from Bowling Green, makes the fair catch at the 15. Bama's defense imposing as expected early. Tide with the ball back up 7. On the bench, he took a huge shot from Tony Brown in the previous series. We'll show it to you and get Dave Katai on board to figure out if he thinks this should have been a targeting call against Brown. Okay, not called, of course, Dave.
Yeah, take a look at this hit. You see him hit with the side of the helmet. Remember, the crown is everything above the face mask. The last minute, he turns his face and hits him with the side. This is really close, but he's not defenseless, therefore he's got to hit with the crown.
So you agree with the no targeting call. Williams, a good sign, at least up on his feet, watching to see if the Tiger defense can get a stop. And he feeds Scarborough and breaks the tackle briefly, a short gain.
That is a big storyline to me in this game, and something we'll keep a close eye on beyond whether it was a targeting call or not. Last year he got injured in the first game, broke his neck, missed the entire run to this national championship game. Has had a huge year this year. Many people feel the top receiver in the country.
Hurts flips it to Scarborough in the flat, and the big fella rumbles across the 25 before Tankersley stopped him. It'll be 3rd and a yard.
And just to finish the thought there, if you potentially take him out of that lineup, they rely on him so much. So we'll We'll obviously keep you posted. Sam Ponder's down on that Clemson sideline.
I don't see him holding his helmet.
No.
Not a good sign.
No. It's a big third down here.
Tide need a yard. Scarborough hesitated briefly and able to muscle forward. He's 228 pounds, still about 20 pounds lighter than Big Derrick Henry, who rumbled through this defense for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns a year ago.
Bo Scarborough is not only physical, Chris, but he can run. 4-5 type of guy. He gets out on the edge, as we saw last week. He can go. We're going to kind of give you an idea of what Steve Sarkisian is dealing with as a play caller tonight.
Two different tight ends come in motion. That's O.J. Howard. Play action. Hurts looks to throw back, and Scarborough slipped. Couldn't get back to the football.
Trying to get to fast-moving Clemson defense out of position with a screen back to Scarborough. There's Steve Sarkisian again, who's called plays in big games at USC and at Washington. He's communicating the play that he wants, and you can see the quarterbacks down at the bottom signaling into Jalen Hurts. He gets the call, and away we go.
And Hurts goes rolling out and delivers a throw incomplete. ArDarius Stewart was backpedaling, couldn't come up with it. He said it's like riding a bike. He hadn't called plays since a Holiday Bowl victory a couple of years ago for SC.
Yeah, back in 14. Now he's going to go to 3rd and 10. He goes right off his play card. He's going to look to see which one that they feel the best about. You can see the urgency. Remember last week there was some hesitation at times on the play call. This week they wanted to be much faster, getting the call in to try to help him evaluate this defense. It's very complex. This is where Clemson mixes up their looks and tries to confuse you.
The quick true freshman back, Josh Jacobs, is in the game behind Hurts. Tigers are showing some pressure. And Jacobs shows the quickness. And Joshua Jacobs still running hard. They move the 6 to the 40. A change of pace from Big Bo.
A great job by the offensive line. The left guard here, Piers Baker, does a nice job. The center gets up to the next level. Watch the left tackle does a nice job as well. Robinson picks up Ben Boulware. Clemson maybe caught off guard there on 3rd and 10, not expecting an inside zone play, but it opens up and Bama picks up a 1st down.
You get 13 yards. You give that one to the play caller?
Play caller and the offensive line as much as Scarborough.
Hurts. This is a designed run, and the Tigers storm the backfield and stop him right there. Kendall Joseph, the middle backer, got him.
Keep in mind, this Clemson defense nationally has been one of the best all year. They've been physical against the run. They do a very, very good job of pressuring quarterbacks, especially on 3rd down, where they're in the top 5 or 6 in the country on 3rd down defense. One of the best in the country in sacks and tackles for a loss. They need to create negative plays to make Jalen Hurts feel the pressure of this defense.
They blitz. Hurts steps up into the gap, stutter steps, and gets out near the 50. Looks like he was well schooled for those linebacker blitzes.
Yeah, and so was Bo Scarborough, because Bo Scarborough is the man who opened this up and gave him a chance to be able to get out there and have some room to run. He comes all the way over and picks up this blitz coming from Ben Boulware, who's coming right up the middle. Right there, by him recognizing that, it allows Hurts to be able to get underneath to that block and pick up big yards there to set up a 3rd and manageable, which is exactly where Sark and this offense want to be.
Scarborough back in. They fake it to him. Hurts steps up and has the strength to get the 1st down into Clemson territory.
And we came in talking about how much Deshaun Watson, we actually have a holding call. I wondered if they missed it or if they called it. There's a holding call here by the tight end.
Cam Robinson says, who, me?
No, he's okay. It looked like 84 inches to me, the tight end.
Holding. Offense on the left tackle. Put the runner at the point of attack. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
No, he didn't mention the name, but the left tackle is Robinson. You're not buying it.
74 didn't touch anybody, so it couldn't have been him. The left tackle, the tight end up here, who looked like he was playing left tackle because he was in trying to make a block on the quick Farrell. He's the one. You can see Cam Robinson. He puts his arms out right away. I didn't touch anybody.
Memphis, though, did tackle Farrell. So instead of a 1st down, at the Tigers 49, the tie backed up to 3rd and 13.
Watch the linebackers from Clemson, usually very active, either disguise pressure or end up right here, and here. These two guys usually are involved in the pass rush.
It's Damian Harris, the sophomore, in a tailback, blocking the blitz. Ball batted in the air, incomplete. So for the second time tonight, the D-line bats a pass down. That time it was Austin Bryant.
Well, if you keep him in the pocket and you time up your leap, obviously he's not necessarily the biggest quarterback at 6'2", and Bryant is 6'4" and has a good wingspan. He knows he can't get in there. It's a great job of timing it up, knocking it down.
It's a deep and young rotation defensive line. A true freshman. We'll talk about Dexter Lawrence, the redshirt freshman, 4 sophomores, a junior, and just 1 senior. Big Carlos Watkins. Incredibly deep and talented group. Scott collects a low punt, and it's partially blocked. The Tigers storm in. The roll will still take the ball inside the 40, but Tanner Muse, the safety, got into Scott, the All-American punter. Excellent extension. The Tide fortunate that the ball rolled into Clemson territory. Just a 25-yard punt could have been much worse for Bama. The latest on the status of the top receiver for the Tigers, Mike Williams.
The latest is good news for the Tigers. Mike Williams given the all clear from the athletic training staff. They asked him a few questions when he came off, but then really didn't receive any medical attention after that, despite the fact he's in some pain. You can see why there. He's taken some huge hits already early in this game, but ended up smiling at the end of that drive. He seems like he's good to go.
And he's certainly good news. We'll see if he can become a factor in this game. Tigers take over at the 37 after the partially blocked punt by Muse.
Because I was just about to say, this game is still kind of settling in. But Deshaun Watson in these first few series, even though he's 5 of 6 for 23 yards, conservative in their passing game, doesn't just feel like he's involved in the running game. Like to see him more involved in the running game to make Bama have to appreciate that part of the Clemson offense.
Watson will take his first downfield shot. Looping throw for Kane, and the Tampa native cannot catch up to it. Again, Anthony Averett was in coverage.
Again, missing Mike Williams there on the outside. And don't get me wrong, Deshaun Kane's a very, very talented player, but not the same as Mike Williams, who now is checked back into the lineup. Again, not only the size difference, but just the connection and the chemistry between Deshaun and Mike Williams back into that boundary where they put him when they're on the left hash, back in there by himself.
Williams, a guy who's made 90 catches this year, 10 touchdown catches, a deadly weapon in the red zone, too.
Quick slants had been there on 3rd down so far for Clemson early in this game.
You need 5. Low snap. Watson has to battle for the ball in the scrum. Ryan Anderson's got it for Alabama. No whistle yet. The Tide have a takeaway.
Well, Deshaun Watson went back in for the ball in that scrum, and the ball ended up getting behind him, and Ryan Anderson reached down and just got it. I mean, he goes back in to be able to recover it, and it looked like he went in early enough to be able to get it, but watch the ball bounce behind him, and you can see Ryan Anderson just looks down and picks it up.
Gallman didn't see it. He was seated on the ground near where the ball was rolling around, and Anderson, one of the toughest, orneryest customers, who had that pick 6 against Washington, a takeaway. It's the 28th for this Alabama defense. And it sets the Tide up at the Clemson 35. Time for the Tigers defense to rise up and make a stand here. It's early. And now a false start from Robinson on the left side there. The fine All-American Outland Trophy winner with a mistake.
Yeah, some movement from Clemson, just kind of shifting. And he appeared to be confused there. Moved.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You said it, Kirk. It was a very poor snap by Jay Guerrero. The Tiger offense does not look at all comfortable so far. Most Alabama opponents don't, but you expect with Watson and his poise and all the weapons at their disposal on the success they had last year, I thought they'd have a faster start. 1st and 15. Scarborough hit and dropped for a loss. Storming in was Carlos Watkins, the old man of that group.
Boy, that is outstanding. They actually slant their defensive line that way. They're moving this way. Watkins fights through, shoots a gap. And I'll tell you, he is quick. at 305 pounds, able to get off of Corbin and into that backfield for a big loss.
And 2nd and 17, Sarkisian wants some tempo, but Hurt's throw is too high for Calvin Ridley.
You just talked about Clemson's defense needs to kind of step up and make some plays after that turnover. The biggest thing was the left tackle Robinson with a false start to move him back 5 yards. Next play, they get penetration for a tackle for a loss. Drop a ball there. Now you've got Alabama, obviously, in these 2nd and 3rd and long situations with the freshman quarterback who has not been very consistent as a passer all year.
No, and he's only 2 for 7 so far tonight for 10 yards with 2 passes batted down. Tigers showing a whole lot of pressure. They bring the house, and Hurts chased, retreats, and just fires to the bench. Never had a chance.
That was a great call by Brent Venables to come after a quarterback with speed, with Van Smith. They bring the linebackers, they're bringing pressure, and Van Smith ends up chasing him down. When you bring the linebackers, maybe they get picked up, but you can't account for the safety. You see the speed of the safety, able to chase him down, force that errant pass, and get this 4th down play.
After the takeaway, they go backwards, and now Scott, who was very slow in his get-off. It took 2.3 seconds last time when Muse got in there and got a piece of it. He'll try to knock it dead. Very good at hitting these sky-high punts and letting the Tide coverage team run under it. And that's what he does. And that is absolutely flawless execution. After the block the last time, you couldn't draw it up better than that.
And like you said, how many times was Washington starting drives last week in the Peach Bowl inside their own 10-yard line?
Levi Wallace was the man down there who stopped it, but credit the punter. That's a sand wedge. It's hit at the 1 and just stopped.
Well, that is beautiful, and it's all about the football in college football.
AT&T pylon cam. They were well blocked. They'd like to get down there and catch that ball. Tigers did a good job, but that somewhat fortunate bounce backs up Deshaun inside the 1-yard line.
Mike Williams is in the game, off to the right, matched up against Marlon Humphrey.
Clemson running game really hasn't been there.
If the ball was down short of the goal line, that plays under further review.
Tom Robinson of this Big 12 crew is the replay official. We'll take a peek. And it just matters where the ball is, not the player, and it just has to touch the front of that white line to be a touchback. But I think Wallace got it just in the nick of time.
Yeah, you can see his feet touch and go into the end zone.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Again, in college football, it's where the ball is, and as long as it doesn't break the plane, then he's allowed to see his feet into the end zone.
It's the very front of the white line, but I think he just secured it. The upper angle showed a little bit better. But you can see the importance of this play. They want to review it because there's a big difference from the half-yard line to the 20.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Short of the goal line, 1st down.
How adventurous can you be against a defense this good that's already had a 4th down stop and a takeaway if you're Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott?
And remember, this Alabama defense is not only has the ability to create the turnovers, as we saw again reminded last week, how they look to score. This is where they want to get you, try to pressure you into a mistake. But this one's against Deshaun Watson. To me, the best quarterback in college football, best decision maker at this position in college football.
Gallman, you just hold your breath when you're handed the ball in the end zone against this defense. He had to make a quick move to escape.
Deshaun Watson a week ago against Ohio State, he had a spring in his step. You know, he looked like he had an ability at any moment to pull the ball and pick up 10 or 12 or 15 yards. Off to a little bit of a sluggish start tonight when he has the ball in his hands.
A lot of smiles, a very relaxed attitude in that game. I haven't seen that so far tonight. Pressure off the edge. Gallman, a flag is down as he spins for a short gain.
Brian Anderson looked like he got a head start there on his blitz from the outside.
Saban is standing out on the field about 5 yards into the grass with his head set off, screaming. Kind of mental mistake. He does not suffer well.
Well, I hope he's upset with his player and not the call.
I think that was the gist of it. Man, they made the fumble recovery.
Offside. Defense. Number 22. In the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 2nd down.
Anderson's an interesting story. He's a guy who was sent home in a Trailways bus his freshman year when he was redshirting there, playing for a championship against Notre Dame. Thought he was going to transfer. His mom said, no, you're not quitting Alabama. You stay there. No quitting. And look where it got him.
And now he's the alpha of this Bama defense.
Deshaun keeps it. He is hit right at the line. I don't think he got it. A crimson wall led by Deshaun Hand held him back.
Well, that was impressive. Reuben Foster holding his own as well. Wayne Gallman trying to come out there to make a block. Deshaun Hand in there. That was impressive. Alabama not giving up an inch there on 3rd down and short.
And that defensive play ends the first quarter here in Tampa. The Tide allow 46 total yards to Clemson. Bo Scarborough scores the only touchdown. 7-0 Alabama. Back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Awaits. Will it be a 5th in 8 years for Alabama, a 6th for Saban, or a 1st in 35 years for Clemson?
Remember, early in the game, there was a 4th and 1, and they were so nervous about running into the interior that they tried to go to the outside. Now they're into a 3rd and 1 deep in their own territory. They go back to the outside, or they test Bama where their strength is, into the teeth between the 2 guards in the center.
They got a little cute that first play call, didn't they? This one. AT&T and tonight's rematch of last year's Classic between, again, the top 2 teams. Number 1, undefeated Alabama, 14-0, and number 2, Clemson. Both teams dispatching their semifinal opponents in dominant fashion to earn their way back to Tampa in this rematch for the championship. Hard to argue these are the 2 best football teams. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder, and Tom Rinaldi will join us. Again, the sequel equal last year's Classics. The ingredients are certainly there. Plenty of subplots and also some fresh faces on both sides.
Yeah, this is the game that I think a lot of people thought in August we had a chance to see. Clemson with Deshaun Watson coming back with a lot of good playmakers around him. And, of course, Alabama with Nick Saban, who seems to always have a shot to get here. So when we left that stadium last year in Glendale, we kind of wanted that 5th quarter. Well, we're about to get another ball game here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bama trying for a 5th title in 8 years. Clemson trying to climb to the mountaintop for the first time in 35 years. One of the new wrinkles, Lane Kiffin, who called the plays very successfully for the last 3 seasons, watching tonight in Boca Raton. He'll take over as FAU's head coach. Saban parting ways with Kiffin, bringing in Steve Sarkisian, who was going to call plays next season. But now Kirk, with a week to prepare, this veteran coach is going to guide this offense. Hasn't done it in a couple of years, call plays.
Yeah, unprecedented to see him in this situation, how he handles it. It's one thing for the 8 or 9 days building up to it, but tonight, when there's peaks and valleys emotionally, how does he handle his young freshman quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who isn't coming off his best game? In fact, the entire offense struggled against Washington. So you're going to see them try to do some things that can settle the quarterback in. The biggest thing is get his playmakers on the outside involved early with some quick passes. Calvin Ridley here, ArDarius Stewart, number 13. They've got to be able to get them the football. The other thing is be decisive in the quarterback run game. At times last week, Chris, he was sluggish and slow and deliberate. Tonight, he's got to be decisive, make quick decisions, and his best running is on the outside on the perimeter. And what's great compliment to that outside running game is Bo Scarborough in the middle. The physicality, what he was able to do last week against Washington, over 100 yards after contact. He'll have to be able to do that to take some of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. But to me, this defense that this offense is trying to go up against was Sarkisian, most aggressive, most attacking defense that maybe they've seen all year. So it's a tough challenge.
The expressions on Bulwer and Wilkins' face say it all. The theme tonight was gimme shelter. Which quarterback's going to be yelling gimme shelter? Because these two defenses combined have 99 sacks. Deshaun Watson, we're used to seeing his calm and his composure in these big game situations. Against the Tide last year, he shredded Saban's defense. Threw for 405, ran for 73, was brilliant in defeat. Came back motivated, trying to top that performance all year. At times he pressed, but again against Ohio State, Kirk, he rose to the occasion, running and throwing in big moments.
Well, this is what we really want to see is Deshaun Watson with an opportunity to go against Nick Saban's defense. He can do so many things with the football. The most important tonight, in my opinion, will be his accuracy. This is last year against Bama. And the reason he threw for over 400 yards is because of throws like this. Pretty good coverage there by Bama, but look at the placement on the football. Can he do that tonight again and find that zone? This is the other aspect that drove Alabama crazy, his ability to improvise. Receivers covered downfield, pulls it down, nobody there to be able to take him away, and he's able to extend the drive and drive Nick Saban absolutely crazy. Now, Nick Saban's had all this time to get his defense ready for those two aspects of the Clemson offense, and Deshaun Watson, you heard him last year after he got done playing him. That guy, other than Cam Newton, is maybe the best quarterback we've ever gone against. Is he better equipped this year to defend him?
Retooled, got quicker on defense to deal with those run-pass option plays that Clemson is so good at. Johnathan Allen, the sack leader. Reuben Foster, the linebacker, is the tackle leader. Very hard to run the ball against the Crimson Tide. 62 per game, 2 yards per carry. No rushing touchdowns allowed the last 7 games. And this is the startling stat, 11 defensive touchdowns. They've only allowed 15. They take it away, and they take it to the house.
The numbers are startling, but as you said, you made a great point. We'll be talking about it a lot tonight. The reason they're different and they feel better about the challenge is the front four. They feel they can get pressure on the athletic Deshaun Watson and get to him without having to blitz. If they can do that, if they can get to him and affect him, they don't have to sack him, just affect his rhythm with their front four, it could be a big night for the Bama defense.
It's historic. Whatever happens here tonight, there hasn't been a rematch in a championship game since this era began. We're back in 1998 with the BCS. They've been pointing at each other for a long time. Of course, the trophy is at stake for the champion here tonight. Bama trying to do something incredible. 5 in 8 years, and again, Clemson the first since '81. You can feel the intensity on both sides. Here is Ben Bulwer, the linebacker and emotional leader of Clemson's defense.
I bring it in tight. Yo! Hey, the sand's running out, man. The sand's running out. I got one more time. Hey, y'all best believe I'm going to exhaust this moment. I want y'all to have my back. I'm going to leave it all on the field for y'all, all right? I'm going to leave it all on the field. Hey, play for your brother, all right? Play for Clemson. Play for this ball. Play for the guys who came before you. I play for Stephon Diggs, for Todd Boyd, for Newt, for all the boys that laid the foundation. They laid the foundation.
The motivations and the emotions are very powerful. We hope they get you ready. That he's 3-year history of the playoff championship game. This is the first outdoor game. Beautiful weather, temperatures in the high 50s. I want to say it's about a 60-40 Clemson edge.
That shot right there almost looks like Death Valley.
That's right on the other side. Kirk, tonight's Planning for Success brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, let's start with Clemson. We talked in the open, Deshaun Watson's decision-making and accuracy. If he's on point, it'll be tough for Bama to slow him down. Make Jalen Hurts throw tonight to have to win the football game. And on the Bama side, Steve Sarkisian takes over. Needs to be able to find his rhythm with his young quarterback, Jalen Hurts, early with some quick passes in quarterback run game. And can they harass and affect Deshaun Watson to try to keep him out of the rhythm that we just talked about?
Sark said, simplify it, allow Hurts to play faster. He's just 18 years, 5 months old. Clemson Tigers counting on Deshaun Watson, number 4 there, who has been impeccable in the 5 previous postseason games he's played in his brilliant career. walks out as the winner of 31 games as a starting quarterback against 3 losses. There's his center, Jay Guillermo. Bulwer, you heard from him earlier. Tigers, as they were last year, about a touchdown underdog, but they thrive in that role. Big, bad Bama. Win streak at 26. Always supremely confident. Those defenders, perhaps, Kirk, a little less business-like than we've seen in the past. They are keyed up to get after Deshaun Watson.